like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Characteristics of Prayer. Volume 1, Book 12, number 699. Narrated by Anas bin Malik al-Ansari. Allah's apostle rode a horse and fell down and the right side of his body was injured. On that day he prayed one of the prayers sitting and we also prayed behind him sitting. When the Prophet finished the prayer with taslim, he said, "The Imam is to be followed, and if he prays standing then pray standing, and bow when he bows, and raise your heads when he raises his head, prostrate when he prostrates, and if he says, Sami'a Allahu liman hamida, you should say, Rabbana wa laka al-hamd." Volume 1, Book 12, number 700. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. Allah's apostle fell from a horse and got injured, so he led the prayer sitting and we also prayed sitting. When he completed the prayer he said, "The Imam is to be followed. If he says takbir then say takbir, bow if he bows, raise your heads when he raises his head, when he says, Sami Allahu liman hamida say, Rabbana laka al-hamd, and prostrate when he prostrates." Volume 1, Book 12, number 701. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "The Imam is to be followed. Say the takbir when he says it. Bow if he bows. If he says, Sami'a Allahu liman hamida, say, Rabbana wa laka al-hamd, prostrate if he prostrates and pray sitting altogether if he prays sitting." Volume 1, Book 12, number 702. Narrated by Salim bin Abdullah. My father said, Allah's apostle used to raise both his hands up to the level of his shoulders when opening the prayer, and on saying the takbir for bowing. And on raising his head from bowing, he used to do the same and then say, Sami'a Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana wa laka al-hamd. And he did not do that, i.e. raising his hands, in prostrations. Volume 1, Book 12, number 703. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. I saw that whenever Allah's apostle stood for the prayer, he used to raise both his hands up to the shoulders, and used to do the same on saying the takbir for bowing and on raising his head from it, and used to say, Sami'a Allahu liman hamida. But he did not do that, i.e. raising his hands, in prostrations. Volume 1, Book 12, number 704. Narrated by Abu Kilaba. I saw Malik bin Huwairith saying takbir and raising both his hands, on starting the prayers and raising his hands on bowing and also on raising his head after bowing. Malik bin Huwairith said, Allah's apostle did the same. Volume 1, Book 12, number 705. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. I saw Allah's apostle opening the prayer with the takbir and raising his hands to the level of his shoulders at the time of saying the takbir, and on saying the takbir for bowing he did the same. And when he said, Sami'a Allahu liman hamida, he did the same and then said, Rabbana wa laka al-hamd. But he did not do the same on prostrating and on lifting the head from it. Volume 1, Book 12, number 706. Narrated by Nafi. Whenever Ibn Umar started the prayer with takbir, he used to raise his hands. Whenever he bowed, he used to raise his hands, before bowing, and also used to raise his hands on saying, Sami'a Allahu liman hamida, and he used to do the same on rising from the second rak'ah, for the third rak'ah. Ibn Umar said, the Prophet used to do the same. Volume 1, Book 12, number 707. Narrated by Sa'al bin Sa'd. The people were ordered to place the right hand on the left forearm in the prayer. Abu Hazim said, I knew that the order was from the Prophet. Volume 1, Book 12, number 708. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's apostle said, "You see me facing the Qibla. But, by Allah, nothing is hidden from me regarding your bowing and submissiveness, and I see you from behind my back." Volume 1, Book 12, number 709. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, "Perform the bowing and the prostrations properly. By Allah, I see you from behind me, or from behind my back, when you bow or prostrate." Volume 1, Book 12, number 710. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet, Abu Bakr and Umar used to start the prayer with Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, all praises are for Allah the Lord of the worlds. Volume 1, Book 12, number 711. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's apostle used to keep silent between the takbir and the recitation of Quran, and that interval of silence used to be a short one. I said to the Prophet, "May my parents be sacrificed for you. What do you say in the pause between takbir and recitation?" The Prophet said, "I say, Allahumma, ba'id baini wa baina katiyaya kama ba'ata baina el-mashriki wa el-maghrib. Allahumma, naki min katiyaya kama yunaka thorpu el-abyadu mina di danis. Allahumma, ighsil katiyaya bil mai wa th thalji wal barad. O Allah, set me apart from my sins, faults, as the east and west are set apart from each other, and clean me from sins as a white garment is cleaned of dirt, after thorough washing. O Allah, wash off my sins with water, snow and hail." Volume 1, Book 12, number 712. Narrated by Asma bint Abi Bakr. The Prophet once offered the eclipse prayer. He stood for a long time and then did a prolonged bowing. He stood up straight again and kept on standing for a long time, then bowed a long bowing and then stood up straight and then prostrated a prolonged prostration and then lifted his head and prostrated a prolonged prostration. And then he stood up for a long time and then did a prolonged bowing and then stood up straight again and kept on standing for a long time. Then he bowed a long bowing and then stood up straight and then prostrated a prolonged prostration and then lifted his head and went for a prolonged prostration. On completion of the prayer, he said, "Paradise became as near to me that if I had dared, I would have plucked one of its bunches for you, and hell became so near to me that said, O my Lord, will I be among those people?" Then suddenly I saw a woman and a cat was lacerating her with its claws. On inquiring, it was said that the woman had imprisoned the cat till it died of starvation, and she neither fed it nor freed it so that it could feed itself. Volume 1, Book 12, number 713. Narrated by Abu Ma'mar. We asked Kabab whether Allah's apostle used to recite the Quran in the Zuhr and the Asr prayers. He replied in the affirmative. We said, "How did you come to know about it?" He said, "By the movement of his beard."